What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Knuckles YouTube channel. Today is Wednesday, so that means today is going to be Legacy Wednesday. Today, we're going to take a look at the Durant deck. Now, I want to give a shout out to Brandon Cantu, and I want to give a shout out to Legacy Fonte. If you haven't been on Facebook and you want to search up Legacy Fonte, it's a group that just specializes just in Legacy. There's a whole, post in there with a ton of decks. If you want to start playing Legacy, that's the way to go. If you want to learn a bunch of stuff, and we're actually just using one of the decks from the list, and that is Brandon Cantu's Durant deck. So today we're gonna cover it, and we're gonna see why this deck is so good and why it's a lot of fun as well. Like Durant was such a fun card back in the day, and today we're gonna see is it still fun or not. Now Durant has the attack Devour. Devour says for each of your Durant in play, discard the top card of your opponent's deck. So if you have all 4 Durant in play, you can just discard 4 every single turn. There's no trick shot with Legacy, sadly, so you have to Devour 4 every turn, which seems kind of hard to win the game. So I promise it's fairly easy, very easy to do, especially since your opponent is taking only 1 prize card off these turns, which is really nice. And one of the problems with the deck now that we have is if you have a Durant prize, you really have no way to get it out of the prize cards. But luckily in Legacy, we can fix that, and that's with Rotom. Rotom has the Poke Power Mischievous Trick. Once during your turn before you attack, you may switch one of your face-down prize cards with the top card of your deck. This power can't be used if Rotom is specified by a special condition. So what you can do is you can swap the top card of your deck with one of your prize cards, hopefully hit a Durant, and get your Durant out of the discard pile, back into your deck, and make sure you Devour for 4 every turn, which is really nice. Now, one way that we are going to guarantee that we make sure we hit the Durant is this Alph Lithograph. Alph Lithograph says, look at all of your face-down prize cards. I can read this one. I know what this one does, but it says, look at all your face-down prize cards. So what we're going to do is we're going to play Alph Lithograph, see what's priced, and then use Rotom to switch out one of your top cards with one of your prize cards, and that way you know for sure you're getting the Durant out of your prize cards or anything else. Like I said, the crucial is prize, like your Life Dew. Maybe you need more twins, your junk arms. You can switch it out with Durant and be A-okay, which is really nice. We play 1 Bicycle to draw GF4 cards in your hand. It's really not used that much, but since you do play 4 junk arm, why not get the Bicycle? 4 Crushing Hammer, flip a coin if has discarded energy attached to one of your opponent's Pokemon. So what we're going to try to do is slow down our opponents by using Crushing Hammers, discarding the energies, and devouring away their energies as well. So a double whammy of discarding the energies. 4 Dual Ball and 4 Level Ball for max draw or max getting up Durant's turn 1. Dual Ball says flip 2 coins for each heads. Search deck for a basic Pokemon, show it to your opponent, and put it into your hand. So if you flip double heads, you get 2 Durants out, but if you flip double tails, you don't get anything. But luckily with Level Ball, you get guaranteed a Pokemon with 90 HP or less, which is really nice because Durant and Rotom both have less than 90 HP. Rotom having 60 and Durant having 70 HP. And 4 Junk Arm, as always, in Legacy decks. Discard 2 cards from your hand, search the discard pile for a training card, show it to your opponent, and put it into your hand. This is going to help you reuse cards like Crushing Hammers, like Bicycle, Lost Mirror Catcher. Any of these cards is really nice with Junk Arm, which is really great. 1 Lost Mirror, which is so much better than Enhanced Hammer. It puts 1 special energy card attached to one of your opponent's Pokemon in the Lost Zone. And once it's in the Lost Zone, you cannot get it back. There's no way it can ever come back on the field. I don't think regardless, like you can even get DCs out of the discard pile. I don't think you can. There might be some kind of Pokemon, maybe like Bumblebee could maybe. I don't think Bumblebee's legal in this format, but something could maybe get back energies from your discard pile. But luckily, Lost Mirror puts it in a Lost Zone, and once it's in Lost Zone, it's gone forever. Nobody can get it back out, which is really nice. So that way you can put special energies in the Lost Zone instead of the discard pile, which is really nice. For Pokemon Catcher, this one says switch your opponent's active Pokemon with one of their bench. That actually doesn't happen. What happens is you have to flip a coin. If heads, bring 1 off the bench. We're playing 4, so you can for sure try to bring 1 off the bench. And just bringing a Pokemon off the bench with no energies is really nice. And especially if they have a high retreat cost, so you can punish your opponent with the catcher. 2 Random Receiver, flip cards. You get a supporter card, put it in your hand. This is really nice to help you get just a supporter card, and you get Junk Arm for Random Receiver to hit a supporter card, which is really nice as well. 4 Revive to put your Durants back onto the field. This is how we're going to get Durants back out once they're knocked out. Put a base Pokemon from your discard pile onto your bench. So this way you can get your Durants out over and over again. And with Junk Arm, you can use up to 8 Revives, which Probably not needed, but it could be really cool. One Super Rod, shuffle 3 combination of Pokemon and basic energies back into your deck. One Tool Scrapper, so this way you can discard Floatstones, which is sometimes a threat. Like, if they have Floatstones, they got free retreat. But with Tool Scrapper, you get rid of that, which is really nice. And once again, can be reused by Junkard. Now, the deck plays 4 in, which some people might be saying that's like counterproductive, like you're playing in to refill your opponent's deck. But early game, you want to play in when your opponent has a low hand size, so that way they can draw more and you can devour them out more. And also, what you can do is maybe if your opponent has 2 cards, you can in them up to 4, and then you can devour for the deck, which is really nice. So in could maybe manipulate to help you win, but also if your opponent has like 6 cards in their hand and they have 1 prize card left, you might not want to play the in, but sometimes you might play the in as well, because if you can discard all energies and then you use in, put them down to 1, they can't hit an energy, you go in that way, which is really cool. 2 Juniper. The reason why we don't play so many Juniper is you don't want to discard cards from your deck. You need to keep all these resources to help you win the game. 4 Oak, which is the best supporter card, shuffle your into deck and draw 6 cards. And then the coolest supporter card in this deck is Twins. Twins says you may use this card only if more prize cards left in your opponent's, which is always going to happen. You're not going to take any knockouts. You're always going to be down on prize cards, or up on prize cards, I guess is a real thing to say. And you can search your deck for any 2 cards, put them to your deck, and shuffle your hand afterwards. So this guarantees you 82 cards, which is really, really, really nice, okay? 1 Life Dew, which says if the Pokemon this card's attached to is knocked out from your opponent's, if this Pokemon this card's attached to is knocked out, your opponent takes 1 for your prize card. I think in the game I say it wrong and say that if they're knocked out with poison, they don't take a prize card, but they definitely don't take a prize card if you're knocked out with poison. It says if this Pokemon this card's attached to is knocked out, your opponent takes 1 for your prize card. It doesn't say by Pokemon, it just says knocked down in general. So even if poison knocks you out, you're A-okay as well. I think I do mess up in game number 1. I apologize for that. 1 Silver Mirror to help you out against Plasma Pokemon, which could be really good against Flareon and Weavile, because it can't be hurt by these Pokemon that's attached to it. But they can't play their old Tool Scrapper, but then you have Junkard to get back Silver Mirrors, so it's definitely a weird combination, a weird war, but sometimes you can just win that deck because you play Silver Mirror. And not only that, if you're playing against Flareon and Weavile, they have to discard a bunch of cards from their deck anyway, which can help you out with Durant, which is really nice. We're playing 4 Metal and 4 Special Metal Energy. And I actually like these old special energies a lot, because these can attach to anybody, but they only work on that certain Pokemon. Damage done by attacks to this Pokemon that metal energy is attached to is reduced by 10. Ignore this effect if the Pokemon that metal energy is attached to isn't metal type. So that's really cool. I wish it was like this nowadays. Sadly, it's not. I don't know, strong energy. Like, you can't attach strong energy to a lightning Pokemon, but here you can. You can attach a special metal to a Rotom. It just doesn't take the effect of the special metal, which is really nice. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you enjoyed this deck list. Once again, shout out to Legacy Fonte. Make sure you search that on Facebook. You can find a bunch of lists online on there. Really great place if you want to start playing Legacy. But hopefully you enjoyed. Oh, shout out to Brady Cantu as well, who made this list. It's on the article as well, or I guess on the list, on the Google Docs list. You can see a bunch of Legacy lists. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a great Wednesday, and let's see the deck in action. Alright, putting against Drave, Nick, playing a Colors, Psychic, and a Fighting deck. I'm not sure what this combination could be. But we'll go with heads like always, and let's see what happens. We win the coin flip, so we'll be able to go first, which is great. And on our turn, let's see what happens. How many Durants can we get out turn 1? Well, we get a mulligan. Alright, so we're going to show our hands our opponent and show they play Junk Arms, Catcher, Level Ball, and Special Metal. Alright, so we'll press done. Going to shuffle our hands to deck and draw 7 new cards. Alright, so we show that we have the Alph Lithograph. Alright, so let's try it again. And there's another mulligan. Alright, hopefully we top deck an in. That'd be great. Give my opponent less cards in their hand for the turn 1. And there's a Durant. That's great. And we get Life Dew as well. That's a great 2 cards to get from the start. And an in, okay. So opponent's going to draw a bunch off the mulligan, but we're in them. Get a new hand of 6. We don't need them to have that many cards. And there is a Smeargle. So we're going to put a Life Dew on the active. We're going to play it in. Both players shuffle the hand and deck and draw 6 new cards. And let's see, what do we get? We get a Dual Ball. So hopefully Dual Ball lets us get double heads. Come on, Dual Ball. Let's see what happens. And tails and heads. Alright, so how many? Okay, so all the Durants are in the deck, which is great. We can still use Alph Lithograph if we want to. We can see what's in the prize cards. And, okay, so let's see. There's 2 steals, dual, so nothing really special. Maybe the Super Rod and the middle right. That might be somewhat useful. So we'll press done. And we'll end our turn onto our opponent's turn. Okay, so we got one Durant out. We did get a Metal Energy out, which could be kind of bad. But next turn we can maybe Junk Arm, get another Dual Ball, maybe get double heads, get two more Durants out. And the question is, what are we playing against? All we know right now is a Smeargle. And if they use Portrait, we'll get it in. We'll shuffle our hands to deck and draw 6 new cards. There's an Ultra Ball, discarding a Course and a Burbank City Gym. Okay. Poison could be really bad because remember Life Dew is only from attacks. There's a Mewtwo coming down, so it might be a Celebi Mewtwo Tornadus deck. DC going down to Mewtwo, which we do play Lost Remover. Burbank City Gym coming down. Juniper, discard in the hand, drawing 7 new cards. Alright, so 38 cards left for my opponent. There's a Hypno, Toxic Laser. Do we stay asleep or not? In heads, we do go to sleep. Now this is bad. Tool Scrapper as well to get rid of that Life Dew, okay? Alrighty. Let's see. My opponent can X-Ball turn 1 and actually knock us out. So there's an end. Both players will shuffle their hand deck and draw 6 new cards. And let's see, what do we get off the end for 6? Alrighty. There's a Crushing Hammer, Twins, Durant. Okay. Alright. So let's see, what does our opponent do? Do they have a way to switch into Mewtwo? X-Ball will knock us out, unfortunately. And we don't really have a way to retreat this Durant. Hopefully we just flip heads and wake up. So we do, okay. So heads, we do wake up, which is great. Alright, so on our turn, we get a Lost Mover, which is great. Well, Lost Mover, get rid of that DCE, put a Durant out, and we'll put a shuffle heads deck and draw 6 new cards. And let's see, hopefully we get a, there's Metal Energy, as well as some other stuff. So we'll grab a Durant. So 4 Durants are in play, which is great. We'll put down a Durant, put a Metal Energy in the active. We'll Bicycle for 1. There's our Level Ball, okay, which is pretty much useless. We can get the Rotom out. Like I said, we can maybe get that, we can get maybe the Super Rod out of the discard pile. I mean, out of the deck. So let's use the Mischievous Trick. We'll put this card, which is a Super Rod. The only doubt, the bad side is we don't know what we're putting in there, which could be maybe hurt us a lot. And let's play Devour. We'll discard 4 cards from my opponent's deck and hopefully discard a bunch of DCEs. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like we discard a Flowstone, which could be really useful. An Escape Rope as well. And onto my opponent's turn. They will take a knockout this turn because of the poison with the laser and the Burbank City Gym. We really couldn't help that at all. There's an Oak. My opponent will shuffle their hand's deck and draw 6 new cards. Okay. Alrighty. So 6 cards come in their hand. Okay. There's a Landorus coming out, which maybe we need Mr. Mime. There's a Fighting going to the Landorus, okay. And will we see a Portrait? If we see a Portrait, they're going to use an Oak, shuffle the hands deck, and draw 6 new cards. And there's a Portrait, so they'll use the Oak, shuffle the hands deck, and draw 6 new cards. So our opponent's down to 30. And like I said, this Hammerhead hitting our bench for 30 could be really bad and eventually maybe knock out our Durant. So maybe playing a Mr. Mime to counter that would be very useful. So we will get knocked out through Poison. My opponent will go down to 5 prize cards, and the question is, can we constantly devour or not to win the game? So on our turn, we get a Super Rod, which we knew that was going to happen. Alright, so we'll Super Rod, shuffle in the Durant and the Metal Energy. We'll put this guy on the active. We'll put Silver Mirror on this guy, pretty much useless. And we'll play an Oak, gonna shuffle my hands deck and draw 6 new cards. There's a Revive and a Dual Ball. So come on, Dual Ball. Give us heads. Alright, so there we go. So we do get another Durant out in play, which is great. Alright, so we'll put that down in the field. And we'll go for a Devour 4/4. Yes. Okay, so we discard 4 more cards from my opponent's side of the field. Alright, so we discard a Fighting, a Donphan, a Phanpy. Okay. Now the question is, can they find a Fighting Energy to retreat this guy? If that happens, we'll Catcher, probably bring up the Mewtwo. I don't know. Okay, so I guess we clicked the Lost on an accident. Yeah, we need a Catcher, bring the Mewtwo up and kind of stall it if they do bring up the Landorus. Okay. Oh, we also have resistance to Mewtwo. I just remembered that. So Mewtwo really couldn't take a knockout. So Fighting's going to the active. Okay. Will you use Portrait or not? So Portrait realized that he doesn't have anything, but he will have to worry about this Pokemon Catcher. So retreat into the Landorus. Okay. And there's a Hammerhead doing 20 to the active and 30 to a bench. Alrighty. And on to our turn. Hopefully flip heads on this Catcher. Alright, so Catcher, don't let me down. Come on, Catcher. And heads. We'll bring up that Mewtwo. Try to keep it stuck in the act spot. We will Random Receiver. We get it in, which I don't want to play right now. We'll Random Receiver again. I'm looking for a Twins, and there's an Oak. I guess that works as well. We'll put a Metal Energy on one of these guys, and we'll use Oak, shuffle our hands the deck, and draw 6 new cards. And let's see, what do we get? There's a Crushing Hammer, which could be really useful right now. Come on, Crushing Hammer and heads. We'll discard the Fighting Energy off that guy, and we'll Devour for 4 more cards. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. Alright. So on our opponent's turn, they have 20 cards left in their deck. We're doing okay. Looks like we're on the road to win the game right now. We have another Catcher as well in our hand, which can be very useful. And there's the Super Rod, gonna shuffle in 3 combination of items or Pokemon and energies back into the deck. There's 3 fighting energies going in the deck. Okay. And let's see what else. Do we have 2 Crushing Hammers? We only have the 1, right? Yeah, 1 Crushing Hammer in the discard pile. Okay. And let's see, what do they do? So DC goes to the active. We could get a Lost Remover. X-Ball will do 30 damage, which is nothing. Alright, so on our turn, we can use Junk Arm, discard a Dual Ball and a Level Ball. And with this, we'll grab the Lost Remover to discard that the DC off the active. Okay, so we'll get the Lost Remover, put the DC in the Lost Zone, and we'll go for Devour, discard the top 4 cards of my opponent's deck again. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Computer Search, Laser. Laser being discarded is huge as well. So my opponent will draw another card. Down to 18 left in their deck. Now they can maybe take a knockout with the Mewtwo, but we're still looking A-okay. If they do that, we can maybe go for a Revive. Something else. There's a Catcher. Tails, not going to bring anybody off the bench, okay? And there's a Juniper, so they're going to discard their hand, draw in 7 new cards, going to put themselves at 11 cards left, which is probably not what they want to do for sure. They could take a knock on the active if they want to this turn. There's a DC going to the active, so we'll see a X-Ball for the knockout. Okay. And let's see what can happen. So go down to 4 prize cards, less than the Durant. We have 11 left. On our turn, what do we get? We get a Crushing Hammer, and let's see, does it flip heads or tails? And it's a heads. We'll discard that DC. We'll use Twins, and with the Twins, we'll grab a Oak, and then probably a Revive. Alright, so grab those 2. We'll Revive, get the Durant out of the discard pile, put it back into the field. And we're looking A-okay. We'll use Devour one more time, discarding 4 cards off my opponent's deck. Going to leave him with 7 left, and it's looking very bad. We discard another Laser and another In as well. So they have 3 Ins in the discard pile. There's a Flowstone going to the active. They can retreat into the land doors and maybe have a Fighting Energy, and there's a Fighting Energy. A Hypnotoxic Laser. This will take a knockout, sadly. So Tails, alright. And there's a hammer. Oh, it will not take a knockout. So 30 on that guy, 30 on this guy, 30 with poison, and on to our turn. Hopefully we can hit a Catcher head. So there's a special metal. We'll go for a Catcher. Tails, we'll go for a Tool Scrapper, discarding the Flowstone off this guy. Alright, discard the Flowstone. Oh, Flowstone, please. There. Okay, we'll press done. We'll discard that guy. And we'll put a special metal on this guy, and we'll Oak, show up our hands and deck, and draw 6 new cards. Alright, there's another Catcher. So come on, Catcher. Don't let us down. And a heads. We'll bring up that Mewtwo. We'll then retreat into this other Durant so Poison does not knock us out. And we'll go for a Devour one more time, discarding top 4 cards of my opponent's deck. They'll have 2 cards left, and it's not looking good for them. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We discard the last in, so 4 ins are being discarded. 1 card left for my opponent. What do they have? Do they have another Flowstone or not? There's a Flowstone going to the active, but if they do not play an in, we can take a knockout this turn and win the game, or we can Devour one more time, and there's a Hammerhead. Going to do 20 and 30 to a bench. They'll go down to 3 prize cards, but we can use Devour to discard the last card in their deck and win the game. So on our turn, we get a Junk Arm, but we'll go for Devour to discard the top card, and we'll win the game by attacking our opponent. So that is game number 1 with the Durant. You can see how strong this deck is. I think our opponent even had the advantage. But Mewtwo, Landorus, Donphan, Smeargle. They had 1 Smeargle they started with. That's pretty amazing. But we'll see one more game with the deck here in a second. We did kind of struggle with the Burbank City Gym and the Hypnotoxic Laser, but we did overcome it with our little Durants devouring our way to victory. So hopefully during round number 1, we'll see one more game with the deck here in a second, and we'll see what happens on Legacy Wednesday. Alright, putting against Teflon Pokemon, playing a Dark, Fire, and something else. Having the Lugia coin. And let's see, can Durant take a win or not? We won the coin flip, so we'll be going first, which is great. Now, they are playing Fire, which can be very bad for us because we're weak to Fire, obviously. But hopefully we'll be able to overcome that. There's a special Dark Energy, Espeon, Hunchcrow, okay. I'm not sure what we're playing against. I think I saw, I'm not sure what I saw. Hold on, we'll just don't worry about what I said. Alright, so we'll put Durant in the active. We have a Rotom as well, but we don't know if Rotom's really needed right now, which is always the scary part. But I think we'll put it down regardless. And let's see, we'll press done. And let's see, what is our opponent playing? There is a Sableye, okay. Which Sableye could be bad because they get Junk Hunt, get stuff back into their deck. Put a special manager in the active. And let's use an Oak. Gonna show up our hands of deck and draw 6 new cards. Alright. And we don't really have anything. But we'll use Alph Lithograph. We'll look at our prize cards. And let's see what's in there. There is a Durant. Okay. So, oh man, there's a lot of good stuff actually in the deck. Now, once again, the bad thing about Alpha Lithograph is we're going to put the dirt in the deck, but we don't actually know what we'll get rid of, okay? So, press done. And with this, we'll use Mischievous Trick. We will put this card, which is Dirt, into the deck. I guess we could have maybe put the in. Yeah, so we'll just end our turn, enter our opponent's turn. Next turn we can devour for 2. I think oh man, I don't remember where the end is. I know where the junk arms are, but I think end is at the bottom right. I could be wrong though. But hopefully we don't put another Durant in the deck. There's an Ultra Ball, discarding a Dark and a Spiritomb. Most likely we'll get a Darkrai out. This might be like Darkrai with like Victini as the fire Pokemon, so that it can beat Verzi and Genesect. Like they play Spiritomb and Victini, just like ensure that they win. There's an Eevee, okay, never mind. So Eevee come down the field, okay. Dark Energy deactive. We could maybe see a Confuse Ray. That could be very good if they confuse us. So it tells we don't go to sleep. And Juniper, go discard the hand, draw 7 new cards. All right. So on my opponent's turn, they keep going. There's an Eevee coming down, okay. Smeargle coming down as well. He could maybe retreat. There's a very exceeded gym, which could be really bad for us. All right. So then the Sableye coming online. See a Bicycle for 2. So they're actually playing a bunch of cards, which is good for us. They're maybe decking out quicker. So there's a Confuse Ray in heads. We are confused. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. Whatever. So on our turn, we get the Durant. I'll put the Durant down. We'll use Catcher. Tells. All right. We'll retreat into this Durant. We'll put the Durant on the active, and we will devour for 2 cards. Yep. I mean, I could use Mischievous Trick, but I can't remember where the end is. So we discard a Bike and a Perleon, okay? Alright, whatever. And let's see what else does our opponent have. There's an Espeon Prime coming down. Evolution Memories. Espeon can use attacks of all Pokemon you have in play that evolve from Eevee as his own attack. There's another Hypnotoxic Laser. Heads, we do go to sleep this time. Alright, so that's very annoying. Dark Energy going to Espeon, okay? And there's a Junk Hunt, so I'm going to put 2 cards back into their hand. Probably double, maybe double Laser. Maybe Laser and Bike. I'm not sure what they'll decide it gets. Either way, this poison is very annoying. So Bike and an Ultra Ball, okay? So not 2 lasers like I thought, which is great for us. So heads, we do wake up. And on our turn, what do we get? Alright, so we get a Random Receiver, which is great. Okay, so we get an Oak, which is what we needed. I'm going to Junk Arm, discard these 2, 1 and 2. And with this, I'm going to try to grab another Catcher. So grab a Catcher. And try to bring up the Eevee off the bench. So Catcher and heads, we'll bring up this Eevee. And we'll use Oak, going to shuffle our hands to deck and draw 6 new cards. And let's see, what do we get? Alright, so we get a Dual Ball. Come on, double heads. And okay, so we get 1. Luckily, we did not put the other Durant back in the deck. So we'll put this down. We will retreat into this guy. Put a Metal Energy on the active. We'll put Life Dew just in case. And we'll devour for 3 cards. Alright, so our opponent will go down to 30 cards, okay? Alright, so my opponent's turn. Let's see, they're going to go down to 29. We discard like a Tool Scrapper, maybe a Dark and a Special Dark. I'm not sure what else we discarded. There's an Ultra Ball, discarding a Dark and an Ultra Ball. And maybe they'll get out Darkrai EX. Nope, Flareon, okay. Flareon can be fairly interesting. So Flareon coming up to the active, okay. There's a Bike for 3. So 25 cards left for my opponents. There's a Random Receiver, gonna flip up cards, and there's a Sages trainer. So they play the Sages. They can look at the top 5 and discard 3 and put 2 into their hand, which is great for us. That means they can, discard the deck even quicker. Okay, so they discard a bunch of those. There's a Town Map. Going to see what's on the prize cards. There is a DC in there, which is great for us. And there's a Vengeance. So they already had a DCE, so 120 damage coming down. And let's see what my opponent take. Oh, they don't take anything because we have Life Dew, which is perfect. So let's hit a Durant. On our turn, what do we get? Alright, so we get an in. And I'm actually going to... Do we end? Yeah, let's end. We get a new hand of 6, and so does my opponent. So they actually draw more cards. So we get a Special Metal, but we don't have a way to get out any of our Durants, which is really bad. So we'll put down this guy, and we'll just devour just for... Wait. No. I think we have 1 more left in deck, right? Yeah, we do. There we go. So we'll grab this Durant. We'll put it down, and we'll devour for 3, putting my opponent down to 13 cards. Alright. So down to 13. 1, 2, 3. We discard a DC and a... Rock God, okay. So 12 cards left for opponents. They can start Vengeance every turn to start taking knockouts. There's a Dark Angel going to that guy, okay. There's a Vengeance for the knockout, okay, for 110 damage, okay. Alright. And they'll probably grab the DCE most likely. Yep, DC. What kind of Eevee is this? I have never seen that Eevee before. Alright, so let's hit the one of the Durants, doesn't really matter. Alright. And on our turn, what do we get? We get a Special Metal. So we'll put that on the active. We'll grab Twins, and with Twins, we'll grab double Revive, maybe? Yeah, let's grab double Revive. We could go for maybe a, what is it? We could go for maybe a Lost Remover, but we know they have another DC in the hand. So we'll grab those two. We'll put down another Durant. So four Durants coming down after they discarded a couple. So we'll Devour. Put my opponent down to 8. And so down to 8, there's another DC being discarded. Owns my opponent's turn. They have 7 cards left in their deck. And things are looking good for us. The Vengeance will constantly take a knockout over and over again, which is fairly scary. Another DC going to the active, which is great for us. So if we can somehow discard both these DCs, we'll probably just win the game. How many DCs are in the discard pile? They have 2 and 2 on the active. So if we can bump both these DCs, we can probably just win the game. On our turn, we get a catcher, and we're going to try to catch her, bring up the Sableye, and Tails. We did not hit that. So let's use a Juniper, discard our hand, draw 7 new cards. Alright, so we get a Crushing Hammer number 1. Heads, we'll discard a DCE. Crushing Hammer number 2. Alright, Crushing Hammer, come on. Let's get a Heads and Tails. Alright, so let's Junk Arm, we'll discard an in and a Level Ball, and with this we'll grab another Crushing Hammer. I wish we had a Lost Remover in the discard pile, but sadly we do not. So let's grab a Crushing Hammer, and let's see, do we flip Heads or Tails? Tails. Okay, so we'll pass on to my opponent's turn. They will take a knockout. They'll go down to 3 price cards. Okay, so 6 cards left in the deck. But if we can get rid of this DCE and they don't have any more energies, we can pretty much just win the game. There's a Vengeance for 120, but I know we have the Lost Remover in our deck. So down to 3, we'll send up the Durant. Okay, on to our turn. We get a in, so let's Twins, and with the Twins, we'll grab a Lost Remover and a Metal Energy. Okay, so grab both those two. We will Lost Remover the active DCE. We'll put a Metal Energy right here, and we'll Devour for 2, put our opponent down to 4 cards. Alright, so down to 4, there's a Espeon and a Dark Energy. No more DCs are left in their deck. There's no way they can get it back out. They can maybe switch into Espeon and then use Vengeance that way. But there's an Ultra Ball discarding a Hunch Crow and an Eevee, okay. It looks like they're not going to get anything, okay. There's a Sage's Trainer, so my opponent is just going to deck himself out and will take the game against his Flareon deck. This weird Flareon Dark deck, but Flareon is kind of popular online right now, so Dark Energy on the active, will Devour for whatever. We also could have grabbed Silver Mirror at any time as well, to maybe make our Flareon can hurt us. And since Flareon discards a bunch of cards in the deck, we easily win that. This happens against multiple decks like Weavile as well. And anything that discards a bunch, especially if they play Sage's Training. If for some reason they play Sage's Training, you're pretty much going to win that game, guaranteed. But hopefully during this episode of Legacy Wednesday, you can see Durant in action, see how strong of a deck it is. And we played against a Flareon deck, which can constantly hit us for weakness. But since we play like Lost Remover, Crushing Hammers, we pretty much win the game from there. But hopefully you enjoy this video. Hopefully you have a great Wednesday. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button. Alrighty. Bye. Alright guys, just want to give a quick shout out to our 2 sponsors, 60 Cards and Yeti Gaming. The links are down below to their websites. Make sure you go check them out. Alrighty.